Shabbat Shalom and Chodesh Tov, everybody. So we are in the days of Sfirat Omer, counting the Omer. Last night we counted, the night before, 15. So last night we counted the next number, but today's the day, and I want to include you in that. So Hayom Yom, Shishas Rayom, Shem Shnei Shavuot, Barbayim Omer, Yom LaOmer. Today's the 16th day, which are 2 weeks and 2 days. We're counting the Omer. Today's mystical attributes are the Devorah Tiferet, which is the strength of beauty or discipline and compassion. For compassion to be effective and healthy, it needs to be disciplined and focused. So one thing we can ask ourselves today, am I compassionate with strangers? Am I compassionate with close ones? Why am I compassionate? And how am I compassionate? So we can ask ourselves about compassion today and see if we can be more compassionate with ourselves and with others on the 16th day of the Omer. So good Omer to everybody as we go through the rungs, the attributes, and head towards Shavuot. So we're on page 168 with the Torah service. Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai v'ein k'ma'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshavtecha b'chol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yivlo v'olam v'ayed Adonai ozer moyitein Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Vayivin Zoharon, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, V'yafirso Evecha, V'yanusu Misanecha, V'panecha V'kadama, V'tifach Levi, V'yayraita, V'tashli Mishalim Delevi, V'li Baracholama, Yisrael, V'tavochai, V'lishma. Amen. Is there 2 people that carry the phone?
It's going to be us.
Okay. Let me give you the secret. Here's one. Careful, Abby. Is this the one for Rosh?
Yes.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadol Adonai Iti. Roma Mashmo Yachtav. Uvaretz. Hamamlacha. Lechol Erosh. Hai Eloheinu, Vishtachu v'lahadam ragla, Kadoshu, Romamu Adonai Eloheinu, Vishtachu v'lahar kodsho, Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm going to invite you to set aside your Sidurim and reach for your Chomashim to page 649, and we'll continue in a moment. Torah, leprosy. So today there's a lot of things going on. It speaks about the birth of children and the sacrifice that you offered after the birth of a girl, the birth of a boy. It speaks about the fact, today when you think you're sick, the common practice is to go to the doctor. The doctor examines us. The doctor tells us what to do, either prescribes medicine or bed rest or this or that or the other thing. And it's interesting how in ancient times it wasn't too different, except they didn't have doctors in ancient time. Someone would go, if they thought they were sick, to the priest, right, the Kohen. The Kohen would examine them. The Kohen would often tell them to wait and see what happens in 7 days, right? What's the big joke we say, take 2 pills and call me in the morning. Kohen would say the same thing, wait a period of time. Let's see what happens to you in 7 days, and then would determine in 7-day increments whether someone was okay and recovering for whatever skin disease they had, or someone wasn't okay and they became a tzora, they became a leper. Often, besides observation and looking at someone and waiting a period of time, there was also ritual washing. So a lot of that we still do today. We're told to keep things clean, and we're told to wait and see, and then we'll see where we are. One of the nice things that I'm proud to say about this double portion is that when someone was diagnosed with Metzora, they were highly contagious. So you didn't want them to be around the community because they can make other people sick. And we know the same story today. Certain things are contagious. They tell you stay away from people. COVID, we have in our own time, other things like that. But what they didn't do was they didn't send people off to go away. There was an outer ring of the community where people who were contagious were sent and they traveled with the community. So even though they weren't part of the regular healthy part of the community, they were still part of the community. And I'm really happy to say that because it's one thing to say to someone, you know, you're sick, we no longer want you. There's no place for you. It's another thing to say you're sick and you're contagious, but we are not abandoning you. You can travel with us, albeit in a separate part of the community, but that's what happens today in holidays in hospitals and homes. People who are contagious are not thrown out in the street. They're put into separate quarters like we did during COVID, and so they weren't abandoned. And I'm really happy to say that. We didn't treat people that way. So it's a great lesson for us to learn. When we can include people equally the best we can, we should. But if someone for some reason can't be with the family or the community, let's figure out if we can keep them close by one way or another. And that's what happens. In a non-leap year like this, where we had one Adar, we often double up Parshiot in order to get them all in. We have to get them all in one way or another. So today we read Tazria and Metzora. Tazria and Metzora are two Parshiot that are often joined together. Some Parshiot are never joined together, but a lot of times the last ones of like Exodus and Leviticus and Numbers are joined together, and others so that we get them all in the yearly time, whether it's a leap year or not. So that's a lot about what's happening in Tazria and Metzora. Susan and I were here this morning talking before, and a number of times I've been asked by parents, don't give my kid Tazria and Metzora, because they don't want to talk about leprosy. There's nothing to talk about. It's not interesting. What do you do? And I tell people that every parsha is interesting.